Alexis, hello.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good. Yeah, I feel great,
Yeah? Surprising results tonight.
to say the least.
I think a lot of people were thinking that HOH was the battle between who was going to take Lexus to the
Yeah,
final two.
I know.
How shocked were you when he took Bailey?
Honestly, my heart sank, but there was a piece of me that had a feeling that he knew he probably wouldn't win against me, and that might take precedence in this moment, which it did. He obviously wanted to win and didn't care about mine and his history throughout the game or the loyalty that I've had towards him, and that's okay.
Yeah, I feel like maybe should have suspected that you wouldn't take it lightly, considering that when the women took Matt out, it was like a revenge thriller. And
Yes,
you were
yes.
on a warpath.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that.
So obviously when Matt got out, it was really difficult. Anthony was a huge support system for that. We were a support system for each other. So having had experience that himself, I was surprised that he would want to put me through that and just, I don't know, potentially take something so amazing away from me. But it is what it is. And I think Bailey really deserved to win. And so I find peace in that. And I'm trying to just, remind myself of that.
Yeah. Do you have any idea how it would have gone if he had taken you instead?
If he'd taken me, one thing that Spicy didn't expose, she exposed hot chocolate, but she didn't expose hotter chocolate,
Right.
which was me and the three girls, Avery, Kayla, and Spice. And so I do think, hopefully, I would have had their votes, which is 3 huge votes.
Yeah.
That he was aware of, but not he didn't hear it in words.
Yeah, when I talked to many of the members of the jury on their way out, they didn't seem to really see a lot of your game.
Yeah.
And they didn't seem super high on the idea of voting for you.
Yep.
However, by the time I talked to Todd, he was like, I think Lexus beats Anthony right now.
Yeah.
So it seems like there was maybe a little bit of maybe not,
Maybe not.
going on there, but it's hard to say at this
Yeah.
point. But talk to me about your journey with Hotter Chocolate, because a lot was said about you in the beginning of the game, especially with the women. It felt like there was a divide that was happening, that they felt like they couldn't trust you, they felt like you shouldn't be given information, stuff like that. And you've talked about it on the show, you gravitated toward Matt, but I think, where do you think that really came from? Because it really did seem to be an immediate reaction to you, as opposed to a reaction to something you had done first. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think I go through this in my daily life, so it's nothing that I haven't not experienced before, and I was very familiar with it. I understand that I have a certain type of aura about me that I give off that might be a little bit intimidating, and I am an unconventional person. I listen a lot more than I speak, and so I tend to sit and observe my environments, and where I think I would feel safe is where I lean towards, and that's where I decide to open up and flourish in front of very particular people. I just think that being exclusive is a lost art, and I really try to embrace that about myself, of not giving myself to everyone. And so those girls viewed it as a lack of trust, when really it is the most important quality you could have in someone, and they didn't know what they were missing out on.
Yeah, you just seem like the chillest person in the world.
I know, everyone says that.
You're just always just so calm.
Okay, I hope so. I hope it's a sense of peace for people,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think I would, but
Yeah.
who knows? I guess maybe in a game where you're really looking for reassurance.
Yes,
yeah, maybe
it's
that's
tough.
Where, yeah.
But I was I'm not your man. I don't need to reassure you every day.
Speaking of men, have you talked to Matt yet?
We had a brief conversation. He says that my mom texts him every day, which is so like her. But he's just such a great guy, and I can't wait to see him. I really missed him, and it was so good to see his face. Because I'm that's one person I can trust.
Right. Yeah, it sounded like there's some love words thrown around
Yeah,
at the
a little
end
bit.
there.
It's hard though, because we're in a place where we tell everyone that we love each other, and for us it's kind of like love you, but treading a little lightly. So it's just a little
something to explore.
Yeah.
Okay.
Something to explore.
If you had been in part 3 of the final three, were you playing along?
playing along.
Yeah, like what would you have answered? Do you think you would have been able to do well?
I don't know. I was like listening to some of the questions and I'm like, but I know what I'm good at and I know what I'm not. I don't know how I would have done. It would have definitely been a lot of luck that I was relying on.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it was an intense one.
It was tough.
It didn't seem like you enjoyed the stacking in part 2.
Yeah, no. No. I was over it.
So you did mention in your goodbye messages to some of the women that you did still want to go to the end with women. If you had won the final 3 HOH, what did you plan to do?
For the longest time, I had always told myself I wanted it to be me and Anthony, even between the hot chocolate and the hot chocolate girls. I wanted it to be me and Anthony just because I found this sense of, I have a best friend who's very much like him, and it brought me, excuse me, it brought me a lot of comfort. So I wanted to stay true to my word, but as time went on and I was really dissecting both Anthony and Bailey's game, I'm like, maybe Bailey would be the better option. And it was hard because I'm like, I can take Anthony or I can take Bailey. It would be amazing to also see 2 women sitting up there, and she really does deserve to win. She's been honest, loyal, very much herself. And so it was, towards the end, it could have been a last minute decision that I made, but I wasn't 100% locked in.
How are you feeling about Anthony right now?
It hasn't fully set in because I really did think me and him had a lot of similarities. And for me, like I said, I probably would have taken him to final 2. I took him to final 3 because I mean what I say. And yes, winning this game is great. And it is just a game. But at the same time, this is you as a person. It is who you are, who you want to be, how you want people to view you. And I just think that he went back on a lot of the things that he said and portrayed himself to be a way that I don't really know anymore if that's how he is in real life. So I don't know.
So you're not sure where it will go?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, I don't hold like resentment towards people. And I get it. It was a good game move. I was thinking about voting for him, but yeah, it was a little shady.
Yeah. So you thought about voting for him at the end there?
I thought, yeah, I was going back and forth, and then I definitely was like, Bailey deserves to win.
Do you think that, like, could you tell the vibe of the jury? Did that kind of like...
That as well.
Yeah.
And then their final pleas, I think Anthony dug his grave a little bit by telling people that their wins weren't as big of wins as his, and just saying like little comments and things. It was unnecessary. So yeah.
How do you feel about the game overall? That like
Oh my
were you a
God.
big fan coming in?
I was a fan, but not a super fan. It's not like I like studied this game and watched everything. So I really had to try to navigate this on the fly. But I think the game is amazing. It's a huge social experiment. And like I said, I would do it again.
Oh, yeah?
I would do it again.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Thank you.